I need some of these guys, on my deals. So it's a wacky world where money comes from. Obviously, it can come from crowdfunding, right? And you've seen some merger in the platforms this week. Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I passed on Indiegogo, so I'm really smart. And then you have angels, individual angels, then there's angel groups, and there's angel funds, and then there's angel lists. And if anyone's familiar with angel lists, this is the most fascinating thing to me. So angel lists, you get listed on an angel list, and then these real smart people become syndicators on angel lists, and what you don't really know is they take all the economics of the deal, but use their name to get you to come in, and then capital market people put money, in there. It's like this deregulation and lowering the bar for credit investors has made it really the wild, wild west. When you raise money, or whoever you get it from, and there's I'm happy to answer any question on how to do some of that. Some really important things to think about. Very important things to think about is how much capital you need at a certain point. And this is where most companies just lose the capitalist attention because you have no idea. And generally, it's smart to raise money in what will be like 12 to 18 month increments. Now today, for whatever reason, it used to be, you sell me stock, I'm buying your equity, let's agree on a price. Well, no one could figure out the price, so everything's on these convertible debts now. And there's all these forms of these convertible debts, like these safe notes. And if anyone here wants to explain to me what a safe note is, I'll take notes. Because you can't, because it's like tracking stocks of a certain class of stocks. It's funny for people buying equities, you don't know what you're buying. You're buying debt that converts at a future time. Now these are your early supporters, but what happens for the entrepreneur is they want the cap note to raise in value, because they think it shows momentum, and now you're killing the people that are supporting you. We're about to publish a blog post with all this data called "So You Want to Screw Your Early Investor," which is what this does. So and it's hard for you guys. It's hard for you guys, especially if any of you are involved in hardware. And I'll give you a great example. And I'm an investor in a number of IoT hardware or other hardware companies, and they're all going to hit some hardware hump at some time, trust me. And what happens is the angels who have a smaller exit or horizon, smaller exit perspective, fundamentally different than a venture capitalist. And the reason capitalists and funds have bigger exit expectations of you is because a fund, when you put together the deals, is designed to have 1 or 2 mega hits, so those mega hits can outperform the market, right? So, putting capital in, not really a big deal. The expectation of exit, much higher. In fact, I could give you a number, but for like every $1 million your cap goes up, it's a $28 million increased expectation of exit on a VC fund. Not so worried about the capital. Angels, super worried about the capital. So if you're a hardware company or something, they're going to pour through your P&L line by line, cost, transportation, insurance, blah, 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 everything you can think of where they think they're losing money, and you're going to pull your hair out, right? And that's the angel thing. A VC walks in and is like, I don't give a shit, we'll just get a new VP of manufacturing. But you guys don't know the difference between who you're talking to. So my advice to you, and when you do talk to people, and it's amazing how many of you don't do diligence on us. Like sometimes I'm 3-4 meetings, tell me about your fund. I'm like, really? We're going to hop into a little mini marriage, and now you want to know about my parents? I mean, come on. You've got to know, like, the capital spot. You're so happy to get the meeting, and you're so happy to give them your idea, and while I'm on a roll, I do want to say this other following thing. I'm going to ask you all a question. You work hard on your pitch decks, right? And you have an hour with venture capitalists, and you show up with your pitch deck. If the guy interrupts you at page 1 and you never get to your deck, is that guy rude and you're pissed? Raise your hand. You're pissed.
Time to vote.
You're pissed. Of course so. I know that he's pissed. He's not saying. I know. Like I teach MBA. It's like if they don't get to tell you everything they know, they're gonna go home and cry. I get it. But let me tell you this: you have formatted your information your way. Like I'm suggesting to you, it's a little obnoxious for you to assume that's how I'll absorb it. So for years, I always tell people when they pitch me, like, hey, I'm sorry, I absorb information sideways. That's kind of weird, self-observation, right? And then I got diagnosed by a Microsoft researcher, so it had to be true. Guy spent 14 hours with me. He says to me, "You're a rhizomatic learner." I'm like, awesome. My condition's gonna be.
What's that?
Does anyone know what rhizomatic means? Rhizomatic is a biological term for plant structures that grow horizontally. This is relief to me. I'm like, oh, I'm not so rude. I'm not like the biggest asshole. Well, man, you know what I'm saying. So the way I abstract information has got nothing to do with the way you pitch it. Nothing to do. But you think that hour is all about you pitching. And I can promise you, after sitting through 15, 20,000 of these, I will learn more about the important part of the pitch, which is this, the psychology of the deal. Now, you're going to go through, you can read all these books and all these blogs and blah, 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 and venture capitalists tear this thing apart, product, market, team deal. All true, all true. I'm a Libra, but I'm going to follow my instinct first, then defer to product, market, team deal. But venture capitalist is the most blue-collar, iconoclastic business there is. You can't scale it. It doesn't scale. And if I did the same thing everyone else did, how am I going to get better investments? I'm not. It's a solo existence. It really is. And you've got to kind of follow your gut. So my goal is to get the things out that are important to me. Like if you're a chemistry company, I want to know the time you burnt down the house in the 5th grade with the chemistry set. I could give a shit what stats you have in your deck, honestly. I want to know about you. I want to know, I want to know all of that. The whole thing. This is where you guys waste so much time, effort, energy, and putting these things together where really, less is more.
All right, this is a good point to see who's got a question. Let's get some questions from the audience. I've got other questions I can queue up, but this is going to get you see what you want. Let's start there, because you're your first hand up. Name, company, and then what's the question?
Marty, haven't started my company yet. Wondering, you mentioned IoT briefly. I know LogMeIn's got exactly. Wondering, do you see that as IoT of consumers or IoT of businesses, and where's that going?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I've been like an IoT guy for a very long time, long before the term IoT almost came out, and I had my own drone built out of Arduino stuff, years and years ago. So IoT is kind of a funny thing because it has super, super deep vertical integration, super, super fast. Transportation, farming, agriculture, that type of thing. And everyone wants the killer app, and certainly Nest, wasn't it. So a couple things, happening simultaneously. One is the material science of the sensors. I really do believe they'll be printable, spittable, in fabric. I've looked at a deal like a fabric of a shirt, will give you metadata of the people that worked on the shirt, make sure it was never like an underage kid.